We head into tomorrow night, and obviously there's a logjam at lightweight as well. You're going to have to stand out tomorrow night if you want a spot in the playoffs.
Yeah, no question about it. These are two divisions that are extremely competitive, and you don't get picked for your championship opportunities. You have to earn them. Not only win, but you need to accumulate as many points as possible. We've had a lot of drama, a lot of excitement. That's what makes the PFL so unique, so different. I can't wait for more.
Well, you alluded to the drama. We're going to have a bunch of new champions in 2023. Right now, the top seed in the featherweight division is that man, Bubba Jenkins, still seeking his first PFL championship. He's top of the playoff standings, but guess who's not there? Brendan Loughnane from a year ago. There's Josh Savert, #1 at light heavyweight. Guess who's not in the light heavyweight playoffs? Last year's champion, Rob Wilkinson. And at heavyweight, Dennis Goltsov, on the strength of 2 first-round finishes, he's the #1 heavyweight in the playoff standings. Guess who will not be making a playoff run this year? Ante Dillia, who won last week. He won, but he didn't get enough points from the win, so he's not going to be in this season's playoffs. So if you think you know what's going to happen tomorrow night, if you think you know who's going to be in the playoffs, you're probably wrong. Let's take a look at the main card tomorrow night. Starting at 9 Eastern on ESPN, we'll simulcast on ESPN Plus and ESPN Deportes. Olivier Aubin-Mercier and Anthony Romero, that's an all-Canadian main event. Sada Boucy, Shane Mitchell, a welterweight feature. Obviously, last year's welterweight champion, Sada Boucy. Shane Burgos, one of the most exciting fighters on planet Earth. Unsuccessful in his PFL regular season debut, which means Shane Burgos has his back against the wall, desperate for points. The same is true of his opponent, Yamato Nishikawa. Maga Millions, Magomed Karimov, looking to repeat the success he had in season 1. He wants another championship, and he is a huge favorite over David Zawada. Magomed Umalatov at a -900 over Naib Lopez. That guy barely ever gets out of the first round in his career. And we will start the main card with Clay Collard and Stevie Ray, classic striker versus grappler matchup. That is a stacked main card. All right, that brings us to our lightweight standings, at least for now. This is after the first half of the regular season. After one fight apiece, OAM, Clay Collard, Bruno Miranda, Natan Schultz, and Haush Manfio all have 3 points. The Canadian gangster, one of the best tacticians in this sport, will tactics be enough when he's only got 3 points heading into this fight?
You mentioned, the fact that he is such a tactician, such a technician as well, and that was very well established last year when he became the 155-pound champ here in the PFL. Now, he faced a variety of different fighters and always had an answer. He's so good everywhere, and we saw that against Shane Burgos. This was a very tough fight here in his first one in 2023. But in classic OAM fashion, he got it done. Just always had an answer for everything that Burgos was throwing at him.
All right, so you've got a guy who approaches a fight in the intelligent way. Always has a great game plan. Always goes out and executes it well. Well, his opponent has one opportunity to earn playoff points.
He says it's probably not going to be a factor. But he feels like he has no pressure here. Here he is from the Challenger Series, doing a great job, little hip toss there. Good striking, good grappling, well-rounded athlete, very smart in his approach to this sport. He's got a well-rounded game, and coming in here with no pressure, he feels like all the pressure is on OAM, so he's going to go do what he's going to do.
All right, we got the whole crew in the building tonight, including from across the pond, our favorite Brit, Andy Shepard, the in-ring announcer. Andy?
Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome someone who has previously thought of as one of the most dangerous men to roam Nottingham, England, and weighed in at a svelte 170 pounds. He's now a few brews and a couple of biscuits north of that. He was also previously known as the Outlaw, but we have dubbed him the Terminator of the Telestrator. It's Dan Hardy.
Thank you very much, Andy Shepard. You're only saying that because you're too far away for me to reach you right now. Okay, Olivier Aubin-Mercier, a very smart, technical, and measured fighter. And we see this in his bout against Stevie Ray. Now, what you're going to pay attention to right here is that calf kick, that perennial nerve. Aubin-Mercier is going to keep targeting that over and over again. There's a dual benefit because he's going to take the legs away from Stevie Ray, but it's also going to encourage him to crash forward. Look at that shin bar, goes right across that perineal nerve. It's going to take away the control and the integrity of that lead leg. But the dual benefit is that it encourages your opponent to come crashing forward. And every Every time that kick is targeted, you can see Stevie's back up and he's back in his opponent's face. Now look at this peripheral vision. Both these guys are staring each other in the face right now, but due to the peripheral vision, you can see Arbon Mercier is taking in that whole field of vision. And we know this because as Stevie Ray steps with this lead foot, he's going to cross his center line. You can see the crossing of the center line. You can see that target now is very vulnerable. So as that kick lands, it's going to take the base away and it's going to put Stevie Ray on the canvas, which of course is not ideal. But Stevie's going to jump back up. He's going to close distance against his opponents. But unfortunately against OAM, this is what he wants. He wants you to move into his punching range so he can work those counter shots. You take someone's legs away, you take their footwork away. You take their ability away to escape, and then you make them sit-in targets for these big punches. Beautiful single strikes, very, very measured from last year's champion. Sean, back to you.
Incredible breakdown from Dan Hardy. I should note I called Andy Shepherd our favorite Brit, forgetting Dan Hardy was in the building. Andy Shepherd is still our favorite Brit. Weight standings, Magomed Karimov and Magomed Umalatov on the strength of first round finishes. Each have 6 points. The same is true of Carlos Leal. Magomilians, he had the fastest of those first round finishes. So right now, he is at the top of the table at welterweight. Sada Boussi, last year's champion, with 5 points. And of course, Naib Lopez pulled off the grinding decision victory. He's got 3 points. Let's talk about Sada Boussi, Randy. It was a long journey for him to get his first PFL championship. He says, I know how to do it now, I'm going to do it again.
Yeah, he started at 185 for us, came down to 170 to stay in the season, made the playoffs 4 times, and finally won his championship last year. He's working very, very diligently the last 2 seasons on improving his defensive wrestling skills. And that has given him the confidence to let those long-range weapons go, those long feet and those long arms. Here is in his first regular season fight against El Salawi, and beautiful combinations. Very, very explosive, long-range fighter. This guy's going to be tough for anybody to deal with. Can he repeat?
So, Sada Boussi, a champion from last year, coming in looking great into the second half of the regular season, and he's fighting a guy who's desperate for points, who needs a finish if he wants to hope for a spot in the playoffs. We saw this just a couple of weeks ago. A returning champion, a heavy favorite, got taken out. What can Shane Mitchell do to repeat that?
Yeah, definitely Shane Mitchell looking to try to take out last year's champion Sada Boussi. And he likes this matchup. You know, he said that first matchup against Naib Lopez, wasn't ideal. He went against a very strong grappler. He wants to stand up and trade. Now, he might not be excited in facing someone as tough as Sada Boussi, but he does like this matchup a lot better. He felt he was just getting taken down and controlled, but he is ready for the upset tomorrow night.
All right, I want to see more of Dan Hardy giving us a breakdown on that giant screen. So let's send it back out. More on Sada Boussi with Dan Hardy.
Thank you, Sean. Okay, anybody dealing with Sada Boussi inside the smart cage has to nullify that height and reach advantage. We saw this against Al Salawi. I want to draw your attention to this lead hand. We see Sada Boussi using this lead hand a lot to dominate that center channel, to remind his opponents that he's the one with the reach advantage and they have to move through that range to get to him. If you get stuck on the outside, he's going to pepper you with long-range techniques that you can't return any counter strikes. But look at this beautiful technique as Al Salawi closes distance. But we're going to go back, we're going to look at this lead hand again. Look, you can see this lead hand dominating that center channel again. Al Salawi's paying attention to this. You've got to try and see it from the opponent's perspective. As this hand starts to come back towards Sada Boussi, it's like a door's open. You're going to see Al Salawi move into that space. And of course, Al Salawi's got plans of his own. He's thinking about that right hand coming over the top and cracking Sada Boussi, who's going to throw this knee up the center line to intercept his opponent. You can see this here. As Al cracked, you're going to see his body contract, and something very consistent, you're going to see him pull this arm into his midsection. A telltale sign that someone's been hurt to the body is they're going to guard the target that's just been hit. And then you've got Sada Boussi closing you down. And Michaud saw the same thing again. He was trying to close distance very quickly until he got caught with that snap kick to the body. Look at it from the other angle. A beautifully timed kick right to the midsection. As Michaud's moving forward, he's got his hands up, he's got his lead leg up, but Sada Boussi is going to sneak this kick in right into that midsection there, catch him in the ribs, and again, empty all the air out of his lungs. And you're going to see the same thing from Michaud. He's going to receive that kick, his whole body's going to shut down, and this arm is going to come drawing into his side to protect his midsection. You see this consistency. and that's the end of the fight there. You can't close Sadibou down too quickly. If you stand out at range, he's going to work you with long-range techniques. If you close him down, he's going to run you onto that knee. Beautiful technique. Guys, back to you.
When you see Dan Hardy break it down, it's just more and more evident how deadly Sadibou is with all of those strikes. Also in the building, Brett Okamoto for more on something we should be watching. Brett?
Yeah, thank you, Sean. You know what I'm going to talk about. It's Shane Burgos, man. We were supposed to see this guy make his PFL debut last year. It got pushed to this year, and so he finally did make it 2 months ago in Las Vegas, and the matchmakers did this guy no favors. He fought Aubin Mercier, and it was a very competitive bout. It showcased what we're used to seeing out of Burgos. But as we know about Aubin Mercier, he knows how to smother guys. He knows how to neutralize weapons. Burgos trying to create space, trying to land those knees, land those big shots that we know that come from Burgos and make his fights so watchable. Wasn't able to get it done, and so as a result goes into the second round with 0 points. And of course he knew that that's what the format was, but until you really feel it, I don't think you truly feel it. And so we spoke to him about that this week.
So I didn't really put too much emphasis or too much thought on the point system. Looking back at my first fight, now I'm in a position where I have no points. And my back's against the wall, and I need to focus on those points. A 3-point decision win isn't going to be enough to cut it. It's just not. So just being honest with myself. So I'm looking at this as high stakes, high pressure, but I thrive under those lights, and I'm excited to go out there and get the job done as quickly as possible. And that's exactly what I'm aiming for. I want that quick 6.
So Burgos wants the quick 6. He did not come over to PFL just to participate, man. He did not come over here to miss the playoffs. So
Thank you, Brett. And by the way, just a reminder, his opponent, Yamato Nishikawa, equally desperate for points and proved very game in his last outing against a very talented fighter in Clay Collard. So that's a matchup you're going to want to make sure you are right here for on ESPN, ESPN Plus, and ESPN Deportes. Of course, our main card comes after the early card. That's right here exclusively on ESPN Plus with these 6 fights. We'll start with a couple featherweight showcase affairs, and then right into the welterweight regular season action. After that, a pair of lightweight regular season bouts, and then in our feature bout, Carlos Leal and Delano Taylor at welterweight. How about Natan Schulte and Haush Manfio? These guys are like brothers, best friends, and they got to fight each other to keep the playoff hopes and $1 million dream alive. As we take a look at the live odds, you can see Solomon Renfro making his PFL debut is a somewhat surprising favorite over Jarrah Al-Salawi. Randy, I do this to you every week. Someone you're really looking forward to watching on the early card.
Carlos Leal, for sure. Here's a guy who last season came through 2 Challenger Series fights, made it into the regular season, fought Ray Cooper III in an amazing display. Heavy-handed, good wrestling, well-rounded. Here is against Nawada, the German, in his first regular season fight this season. Again, there's the heavy hands, a well-rounded fighter, and a game fighter, absolutely. So he's going to throw his hat in the ring and try to make the playoffs.
He's got 6 points already, so he's in a good position. His opponent, Kenny, that's not the case for Delano Taylor. Delano's back is really up against the wall because not only did he lose his first fight, he missed weight by the narrowest of margin, which penalizes him a point.
Yeah, that's right. 0 points, then again, losing a point for missing weight. But, he is used to pressure. We saw it last year. He took on Rory McDonald, one of the best welterweights of all time, and got it done by knockout. So he is capable of getting some big wins at some critical points. He's absolutely going to need to do that against the Brazilian Carlos Leal. He's got the length, he's got the skills. Let's see if he can pull it off tomorrow night.
All right, so that bout will finish our early card, but you're not going to want to miss any of the fights on the scale. As I told you, our first bout of the evening will be a featherweight showcase affair. Abdullah Al-Khatani and Lamar Brown. And to put them on the scale, Andy Shepard.
Thank you, guys. Yes, tomorrow night brings an end to our 3-week residency here in Atlanta and to the PFL regular season. It's the lightweight and the welterweight who get their opportunity to book their place in the playoffs. And in our early card, we've got 2 former PFL world champions in action. You can catch those contests from 6 p.m. Eastern. Official weight, 146 pounds. And in the red corner, fighting out of Manama, Bahrain, Abdullah Al-Qatani. Official weight 144 3/4 pounds.
This should be an exciting fight, you know, and seeing both these men, you know, they both have very good wrestling. Al-Qatani very aggressive on the feet as well. It should be fun.
That brings us to our second showcase bout of the evening. This one also at featherweight. Brian Sorcher and Mike.
Official weight 144 1/2 pounds. And in the red corner, fighting out of Jarataderes, Nayarit, Mexico, Brian Sorcher.
So Brian Sorcher,
Official weight 146 3/4 pounds.
as Andy informs us there, Randy, he missed weight. How much does that affect this fight?
Well, I mean, you can't afford at this stage of things, especially coming into this. I mean, it's a showcase bout, but it says something about your professionalism. And if you're trying to impress the bosses and get a shot in the regular season, that's not the way to go about that. And this guy's got an amazing work ethic. He trains at the gym with us at Extreme Couture. We've seen him in showcase bouts and the Challenger Series.
Introducing first, fighting out of the blue corner from Cleveland, Ohio, Solomon Renfro. Official weight 169 1/2 pounds. And in the red corner, fighting out of Amman, Jordan, Jara El Salawi. Official weight 170 3/4 pounds.
This should be another fun one. Solomon Renfro, very athletic, very powerful fighter, taking on Al Salawi. Two finishers here going at it. A little bit of talking back and forth.
Solomon Renfro ready to make his PFL debut, not backing down from anything.
Right?
He wants to make his debut right now.
Somebody pushed a button there, maybe.
From there, we'll move to the lightweight division. Alexander Martinez, Bruno Miranda.
Introducing first, fighting out of the blue. Miranda. Official weight 153 1/2 pounds. And in the red corner, fighting out of Grand Prairie, Alberta, Canada, Alexander Martinez. Official weight 156 pounds.
Martinez, absolutely massive for the weight, has accrued a lot of very important experience here in the PFL, but he's facing a guy in Bruno Miranda who's probably the most underrated fighter at 155 pounds right now in the PFL. Has some tremendous skills. When he's getting those combinations together, watch out, especially those leg kicks, just brutal.
9 knockouts to his credit,
Yeah.
Miranda. That's, man.
Real finisher.
Bruno Miranda hasn't lost in almost 6 years. He's on a real win streak here. You want to talk about two fighters who know one another well?
Oh my gosh.
Natan Schultz and Raush Manfio in the regular season at lightweight.
Introducing first, in the blue corner, fighting out of Porto Alegre, Brazil, Raush Manfio. Official weight, 156 pounds. And in the red corner, fighting out of Joinville, Brazil, Nathan Schultz. Official weight, 156 pounds.
Guys really need to work out, don't they? Holy cow.
Look, the godfather of House Manfio's kids, Nathan Schultz. The godfather of
two-time champ.
Yeah, the godfather of Nathan Schultz kids, House Manfio. I mean, these guys are like brothers, live together, alive. It's insane. Not quite the same relationship between these two guys. Welterweight contest between Carlos Leal and Delano Taylor.
Introducing first, in the blue corner, fighting out of Miami, Florida, Delano Taylor. Official weight, 171 1/4 pounds. And in the red corner, fighting out of Curitiba, Paraná, Brazil, Carlos Leal. Official weight, 170 1/2 pounds.
Leal was on an 11-fight win streak until he ran into Sadibou C in the semifinals last season. Sadibou becoming our eventual champion. Delano Taylor coming out of the Challenger Series and making it all the way to the finals and coming up a little bit short after that amazing knockout of Rory McDonald in his semifinal bout.
All these fighters hoping to earn points and a spot in the playoffs. Speaking of the playoffs, right around the corner, we're headed to San Antonio, Texas. Take a look.
If they got 2 feet in the belt, I want it. Let's get it.
Up and down. Oh my goodness! Right now, tapping. Huge knee.
With the flying knee.
Jenkins with a suplex. Holy pounding it out. Monday is down.
They'll pay us for overtime. We got to get in and get out.
First playoff event. After that, we'll go back.
Garden's the Mecca. Everyone in the world knows where Madison Square Garden is. It's the most iconic arena in the world.
Beautiful. Right hand, right on the button. Just absolute brutality.
And he's down, and he's done. So one playoff show in San Antonio and then back-to-back in New York at Madison Square Garden. I got fond memories of that place. Go get your tickets for the Tom. This is going to be a fascinating matchup. Striker, Clay Collard, grappler, Stevie Ray. Andy Shepard, to you.
Well, we just saw 2 former PFL world champions step on the scales for our early card. Coming up on our main card, we've got 3 former world champions. Tomorrow night really is stacked from top to bottom. You can catch our main card from 9 p.m. Eastern live on ESPN and ESPN+. Introducing first, fighting out of the blue corner, from Kirkcaldy, Fife, Scotland, Stevie Ray. Official weight, 155 1/2. Official weight, 155 pounds.
Guys, can't wait for this fight. Stevie Ray, 0 points. Clay Collard has 3 points. Stevie Ray's been in this position before where he needed a win in the second half of the season. He needed a finish, and of course he delivered with an iconic victory, that Scottish Twister submission over Anthony Pettis. So a little deja vu for Stevie Ray, because even the opponents are similar, not just the situation.
Yeah, that's right.
Next bout will take place at welterweight. You talk about guys on a streak. Nobody's streaking like the Prince, Magomed Umalatov. But Naib Lopez pulled an upset last time. He's looking to do it again.
Introducing first, fighting out of the blue corner from Atizapan de Zaragoza, Mexico, Naib Lopez. Official weight 170 pounds. And in the red corner, fighting out of Dagestan, Russia, Magomed Umalatov. Official weight 170.5 pounds.
Naib Lopez looking to pull off the upset here. You saw those odds right now heavily in the favor of Magomed Umalatov, but you can't. Another Magomed, this one with a PFL belt at home. Magomed Karamov, season 1 champion, welcomes David Zawada into the Smart Kid.
Introducing first, fighting out of the blue corner from Dusseldorf, Germany, David Zawada. Official weight 170.25 pounds. And in the red corner, fighting out of Dagestan, Russia, Magomed Karamov. Official weight 171 pounds.
Yeah, pretty interesting. Both these guys have trained with each other before. David feels like he knows Magomed's game extremely well, knows what to avoid, knows where maybe some vulnerabilities are. I'm not sure exactly what those vulnerabilities are exactly. I haven't really seen too many.
Well, yeah, I don't think anybody's seen any.
No.
A winner-go-home match at lightweight between Shane Burgos and Yamato Nishikawa.
In the blue corner, fighting out of Hokkaido, Japan, Yamato Nishikawa. Official weight 155.75 pounds. And in the red corner, fighting out of Monroe, New York, Shane Burgos.
Avery, great, Sean. I love you guys.
Official weight 155.75 pounds.
Both of these guys know the situation. It's get out there, get the job done, do it quickly. Shane Burgos, Yamato Nishikawa. Nishikawa's only 20 years of age, but he already has more pro fights than Shane Burgos, who's 12 years his senior.
Yeah, that's just crazy. And this is actually the first time he's ever come to a fight without his father, who was the impetus for him getting into combat sports in the first place.
Up next will be the co-main event. Sada Busi, 2022 welterweight champ, and Shane Mitchell, who made the trip all the way from Adelaide, Australia.
Introducing first in the blue corner, fighting out of Adelaide, Australia, Shane Mitchell. Official weight 170.75 pounds. And in the red corner, fighting out of Stockholm, Sweden, Sada Busi. Official weight 170.5 pounds.
All right, this is our co-main event, so let's take a closer look. Here's the tail of the tape. Sadabusi, 36 years of age. Shane Mitchell is 31. Sadabusi, the taller fighter, which is pretty much always the case when he's fighting at welterweight and 6'3". Both men weighed in right at the limit of 171 pounds. You can see a huge advantage on the arm reach there for Sadabusi. And he's got longer legs as well. 47 to 43 is the comparison there. Let's talk a little bit more about it. Kenny Florian. Shane Mitchell, when we talked to him in the fighter interviews, I was impressed by the fact he knows exactly the situation he's in. He's got to get a finish against one of the hardest guys to finish.
Yeah, that's right. He definitely understood the assignment. And really, it comes down to, can you get into boxing range? Can you get on the inside of that long reach of Sadabusi? Not a lot of people have been able to figure it out. And if you do, you get on the inside, you look for takedowns. Sadabu has done such a fine job of shoring up that wrestling, improving that defensive side of things. And, you know, it's been a difficult puzzle for a lot of people to solve. Shane Mitchell trying to be one of the first to do it.
Brett Okamoto standing by with.
And you got to get a finish here against last year's winner. How do you just feel about the circumstances going into this one?
I mean, coming up against Sadibu, he's a gun. So you're getting the job done in the first. I knew it's a hard mission, but I know it's normal. But yeah, it's definitely it's possible just to let it come. But nah, I think I'll have to apply a little more pressure.
It's going to be a fun fight, man. And if you get that win and that quick 6, I'm sure that's going to feel very, very, very good. Excited for the fight. Best of luck. Guys, back to you.
Thank you, Brett. Okay, now let's talk about last year's champion, Sadabusi. He's been part of the PFL since the first PFL season. That was in a different weight class, but he keeps improving. At 36 years of age, he says he's far from done.
He's done a great job. He's committed himself to shoring up his wrestling. He saw that as a potential weakness for him. Has such long levers. If you could get him to the ground and smother him, he had a chance at taking rounds from him. He's done a great job coming to Extreme Couture in Las Vegas, working very diligently on his wrestling, and that's given him the confidence now to let his hands and feet go and not worry about getting taken down.
He had 5 points in his last outing, looking to get at least that many tomorrow night. Sadabusi is standing by with Dan Hardy. Dan?
Thanks, guys. I'm here with last year's welterweight champion, reminding me why I retired from welterweight, because look at the size of this guy. He's terrifying. Tell me, Sadabu, does it feel different this year? Because you're coming back. You were the champion last year. Do you feel like everyone's focused on you now to beat, or do you just feel like one of the contenders again?
It feels just like last fight, just like last year. If anyone is after me, good. Let them focus on me. I'm focused on myself.
What have you been working on since the last fight? Because obviously you are the guy to beat, so everyone's watching you, everyone's researching, trying to figure out how they're going to beat you. What have you been working on? What surprises have you got for us?
You know I'm not going to tell you that before the fight. But I have been working on a lot of things. Something that we pride us on, me and my team, is after each fight we look at what can we do better, opportunities missed, and what can we learn and how we do get better from there.
Well, I'm hearing you're aiming for a viral finish. You want to make sure everyone around the world sees this finish. So how are you going to go about that?
Yeah, that's the plan. I've been trying to get a force a knockout before in my career, so that's not going to happen. The most important thing is to get the victory that will get me through to the playoffs. If the opportunity presents itself, I'm definitely going to throw some different things.
I will look forward to seeing that, my friend. Good luck. Guys, back to you.
I'll sign up for a viral finish from Sadabusi. I'm on board with that. That brings us to our main event tomorrow night. Olivier Aubin-Mercier, Anthony Romero at lightweight.
Introducing first, fighting out of the blue corner from Welland, Canada, Anthony Romero. Half pounds. And official weight 155.5 pounds.
I mean, these are two guys that are so good everywhere. Really curious to see if Romero is actual fresher, younger version of OAM.
Let's take a closer look here. Maybe an examination of our tail of the tape. And here it is, again, your main event, all Canadian affair, OAM, Anthony Romero. OAM is 34 years of age. The genius Anthony Romero is only 26. Romero is the taller fighter. Not often that Olivier Aubin-Mercier sees a bigger lightweight than himself. Both men with 71-inch reach on the arms, and the longer legs belong to the Canadian gangster. All right, Randy, Kenny brought it up. You know, you've got a younger guy, maybe a fresher guy, and I just told you, it's not often that OAM meets his physical equal at lightweight. He is a massive lightweight. Now, we saw against Shane Burgos, he's not bothered by size similar to his own. Now he's got another test like it. How does he make it happen twice?
Yeah, well, it's going to be very, very interesting. And Romero feels like there is a chance for a changing of the guards here. He was a big fan of George St. Pierre and Olivier Aubin-Mercier. So he's watched these guys. These are the guys that activated him and made him want to be one of those guys. So it'll be interesting to see if he can get it done tomorrow night against OAM.
Brett Okamoto is standing by with Romero.
Thanks, Sean. Anthony, you spent some time in the gym with Aubin-Mercier when you were 17. How did it feel to stare him down now, and what are you expecting from him in the smart cage?
I was just a small kid at the time, and I had a big dream, and that dream is now, and I'm excited to turn it into reality, and yeah, ready to perform.
Obviously, you're looking for a win. You're looking for PFL points. Is there any bragging rights in Canada on the line here? Are you trying to take a little bit of something from him in Aubin-Mercier?
I think so. We're super friendly in Canada, so we might share sometimes here and there, but I'm coming for that win, and I'm blessed with this opportunity. So.
Super friendly in Canada, but I did hear you said you want to take over as the face of Canadian MMA. We'll see if you can do so tomorrow, man. Really looking forward to it. Best of luck.
Thank you very much.
Sean, back to you guys.
All right, thank you. And that brings us to the Canadian gangster. He's still undefeated in the smart cage. He doesn't look like he's slowing down anytime soon. He's coming off a huge win over a guy in Shane Burgos who, you know, he's a top 15 fighter in the UFC. OAM, is he on his way to a second championship?
You know, he may be a little bit older, you know, but he also has, it's a grind to be here in the PFL. You know, being a part of last year was extremely difficult on him mentally, physically, spiritually, all that stuff. And here he is again, you know, facing another guy. I think experience, though, definitely favors him, no question about that, and that counts for a lot in mixed martial arts.
Dan Hardy has the Canadian gangster.
Thanks, guys. I'm here with last year's lightweight champion. I'm staying retired. Look at the size of these guys. I'm not even big enough for this weight class anymore. He's a big, strong, powerful athlete who's very, very controlled. How do you stay so calm in there and so measured in a fist fight?
I don't know. I just wake up like this and I stay like this all day, you know?
What about game planning? Do you research your opponents? Do you have a good idea of what you need to do through the rounds to get them beat?
Yeah, I saw some video of his and he's quite good. So we have some plan in mind, and it's going to be interesting. You know, we don't know what's going to happen. Is he going to go crazy for the 6 points? Is he going to do what he does normally? You know, a really technical fighter. We don't know, so we are ready for everything.
Tell me about the process of working your way through to a championship in the PFL. It's an exhausting schedule. You've got to stay on shape. You've got to stay healthy. How do you do it? And what's the mindset like gearing up to do it all over again?
I guess you have to pray. That's the secret, I guess. I don't know. It's painful, you know. It's a lot of hard days, I would say. But I think you have to pace yourself a little bit. You cannot go crazy every training. If you do that, you're gonna be dead after the first fight, and so yeah, you have to be ready, you know.
I'm excited to see you again, my friend. Good luck. We'll see you tomorrow. Back to you guys.
Thank you. Maybe my favorite answer to a question ever. I don't know. I wake up like this. I just stay like this.
Yes.
All day.
All day. The Canadian gangster versus Anthony Romero in the main event. Saddam Hussein, Shade Mitchell in the co-main event. 4 fighters in each weight class will be punching their tickets to the playoffs tomorrow on ESPN. Plus, we start at 6 Eastern, and then on the main card, 9 Eastern. Simulcast on Plus, and of course over on ESPN. The playoff push continues from OTE in Atlanta. Cannot wait for this incredibly stacked card. Join us tomorrow for the Professional Fighters League.